A new cat food recall is raising serious health concerns. The J.M. Smucker company says it's received reports of pets getting sick after eating one of its products. The recall affects the 5.5-ounce cans of Natural Balance Ultra Premium chicken and liver pate. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments, and I will give you a heart. Your cat's bowl is supposed to be love, safety, and nourishment, not a chemistry experiment gone wrong. But the reality is harsher. Some cans in the pet food world hide salmonella, rubber fragments, or formulas so nutritionally empty that your cat's nervous system starts to fail long before you realize something's wrong. And these aren't obscure brands gathering dust on a corner shelf. These are the shiny, premium labels sitting in every big box store, sold with cheerful promises and glossy marketing. For senior cats whose immune systems are already fragile, for cats on kidney or thyroid medication, for kittens whose nervous systems are still developing, a contaminated can isn't just bad food. It can turn into a full-blown medical emergency. Brand 10 AMS. AMS looks like the safe choice at first glance. Those glossy cans, the silky gravy, the veterinarian recommended impression, it all feels premium. But in 2011, the truth slipped out. The FDA reported that AMS had to recall several canned cat foods for low thiamine, also known as vitamin B1. Without thiamine, your cat's brain and nervous system can't function. There's no spare tank. When it's gone, neurological failure starts quietly and gets worse fast. The terrifying part is that you can't see the problem. The food still smells normal, the texture looks perfect, the color doesn't change, everything appears fine, while inside the can, the nutrient your cat depends on is already gone. Thiamine breaks down under heat and long storage, and unless the manufacturer runs strict batch testing, no one knows until cats start getting sick. Thiamine deficiency hits hard. First come vomiting and appetite loss, then the wobbling. Your cat can't walk straight, their head tilts, their eyes stare into corners, and confusion sets in. In the worst cases, seizures follow. Senior cats crash first. Cats on kidney or diuretic medications follow. Underweight cats and kittens are at even higher risk. And here's the painful truth. Some of the neurological damage never fully heals. AMS responded with a quiet recall. No major warning campaign, no urgent alerts, just a notice posted where most cat owners would never see it. Meanwhile, customers kept feeding cans from the same time frame, trusting the shiny label that didn't match the lab result. Your best move is simple. Choose brands that publish real nutrient testing. Take photos of your lot codes, and if your cat ever looks wobbly, confused, or oddly tired, bring the can straight to your vet. Don't shrug it off as just aging. Sometimes it's the food working against your cat, not the ears. If you're taking this seriously, type "brain safe" in the comments so other pet owners know you're paying attention. Brand 9 Wellness. Wellness has mastered the holistic look. Soft colors, gentle fonts, calm packaging that makes you feel like you're buying something safer than the average can. You pay extra because you believe the brand avoids shortcuts. But in 2017, that image cracked. Wellness recalled several canned cat foods for quality concerns, including the possibility of foreign material inside the cans. Not a flavor issue, not a minor tweak, actual debris ending up in products sold as premium. What makes this dangerous is how quiet it is. Open a can and everything appears normal. The texture looks smooth and even, the color seems rich, the smell is exactly what your cat expects. Yet foreign material can hide in the mix with no visual cue. A contaminated ingredient, a seam defect, or a slip in the manufacturing process doesn't announce itself. It blends in until your cat bites into something that shouldn't be in food at all. There is one subtle red flag you should never ignore. If you open a can and catch a faint metallic smell beneath the usual aroma, stop immediately. That smell is often the first sign something on the production line didn't go right. In these moments, trust your instincts more than the label, because the label won't warn you. Wellness's response was minimal, a quiet notice, no broadcasted warning, no aggressive consumer outreach. And despite the recall, cans from the same time period were still sitting on shelves while shoppers had no idea anything was wrong. Premium pricing didn't guarantee premium oversight. You paid for holistic. What you got was hope that the batch was fine. Your smartest move is simple. Always inspect the can. Check the seams. Smell the food before serving. If anything feels even slightly off, don't gamble with your cat's health. Return the can sealed and keep the receipt so you can track the lot if something comes up later. If you've ever opened a premium can and caught a strange smell but served it anyway, type check first in the comments. It might help another owner trust their instincts. Brand 8 Purina Muse. Purina Muse built its reputation on being the gentle, natural topper. The kind of product you add to the bowl when you want to treat your cat to something special. Friendly label, cute tin, soft marketing. But in 2019, that gentle image cracked wide open. Nestle Purina issued a voluntary recall because some batches contained rubber pieces, not a flavor issue, not an ingredient dispute, actual foreign fragments hiding inside what's supposed to be a safe soft topper. And the scary part is how invisible the danger is. You open the tin and everything looks normal. The gravy smells fine, the color is consistent, the texture looks smooth, but foreign material contamination doesn't announce itself. A piece of rubber can slip through and ride the gravy until your cat's teeth find it, or worse, their throat does. The cats most at risk are the ones who can't easily protect themselves. Small cats with narrow throats, senior cats with weaker swallow reflexes, cats with dental issues who can't chew properly. One sharp or flexible fragment can scrape the mouth, lodge in the throat, or tear the digestive tract. And you won't know until your cat stops eating, drools uncontrollably, or suddenly starts pawing at their face. There's another layer to this problem. Old stock. Clearance racks and bargain bins often carry outdated lots far longer than people realize. That great deal on a discounted Purina Muse tin might be from the very time frame affected by the recall. Most shoppers never check the date or lot code. They just see a low price and grab it. Purina's response was a voluntary recall posted quietly in hard-to-find newsroom sections. No major alerts, no loud warnings, just a small notice while affected lots kept circulating. You can protect your cat. Before serving any wet tray or topper, break the food apart with a fork and spread it thin on the dish. If a foreign piece is hiding, this exposes it instantly. Always photograph your lot codes, and if your cat coughs, gags, drools excessively, or paws at their mouth after eating, stop feeding immediately and call your vet. If you've ever found something hard, chewy, or suspicious in wet food, type "spot it" in the comments. It helps others stay alert. Brand 7 Natural Balance. Natural Balance built its entire identity on simplicity. Short ingredient lists, clean labels, a pitch that says fewer ingredients means fewer problems. For many cat owners, especially those dealing with allergies or sensitivities, it sounds safe, logical, even protective. But in 2021, that promise collapsed. The FDA announced a recall of Natural Balance green pea and chicken dry cat food because it tested positive for salmonella. Not speculation, not a rumor, a documented federal recall. Here's why salmonella in dry food is so dangerous. You can't detect it. The kibble looks perfectly normal. The color is consistent. The oils still shine on the surface. There's no bad smell. Nothing looks spoiled. You pour it in the bowl and your cat eats with no hesitation. Meanwhile, bacteria invisible to the eye are already there. The real betrayal happens when people dump dry food into a storage bin and throw away the original bag. Without the bag, you lose the only traceable lot information. If a recall appears later, you have no way to know whether your bin is full of safe kibble or a contamination risk sitting quietly in your kitchen. The painful irony is that people buy Natural Balance because they believe simple means safer. But salmonella doesn't care about ingredient philosophy. Cats can catch it. Humans in the home can catch it. And infected cats can spread salmonella through the litter box, their paws, the floor, the couch, everywhere they roam. Some cats show symptoms like diarrhea, fever, vomiting, or lethargy. Others show nothing while your whole home becomes exposed. Natural Balance's reaction was minimal. A recall notice, then business as usual, no large-scale consumer alerts, no strong outreach. Meanwhile, the same marketing promises stayed printed on every bag. Your best protection is straightforward. Always keep the original bag inside the storage bin. Never mix new kibble into old crumbs. Wash your hands after every scoop. And if your cat shows fever, diarrhea, or sudden fatigue, bring your vet the bag and the lot code immediately. If you've ever tossed the original bag without thinking, type "keep the bag" in the comments. It could save another cat owner from a dangerous mistake. Brand 6 Meow Mix. The secret is, in order to minimize advertising and still earn an unbelievable brand, Meow Mix has been a household name for decades. Bright colors, cartoon mascots, and a price that feels almost too good to pass up. A 30-pound bag for $12 looks like a bargain, especially if you're feeding multiple cats. But that price tag hides a real problem. Quality protein, proper storage, and reliable pathogen testing all cost money. When a company sells massive bags at rock-bottom prices, corners have to be cut somewhere, and in 2021, the FDA made the hidden cost clear. J.M. Smucker issued a recall for 230-pound bags of Meow Mix sold at Walmart because they tested positive for salmonella. This wasn't a simple flavor issue. This was a pathogen that can make cats sick and spread across the entire home without warning. Dry food contaminated with salmonella looks completely normal. It pours smoothly, it smells the same, there's no visual cue that anything is wrong. Your cat eats it without hesitation, and the bacteria quietly spread through their system, then into the litter box, onto floors, and onto every surface they touch. The storage habits that many budget shoppers rely on make things worse. People buy the huge bag to save money, then store it in a warm garage or laundry room. Heat and humidity accelerate bacterial growth. Even if the bag starts safe, poor storage can turn it unsafe. And since the kibble looks unchanged, no one realizes what's happening until symptoms show up. Meow Mix recall response was quiet and selective. A limited recall affecting certain stores. No national headlines, no urgent consumer push, just business as usual, while families continued scooping from contaminated bags sitting in garages across the country. The truth is simple economics. If high-quality cat food costs $3, 0 cents, $4, 0 cents per pound to make, and Meow Mix sells 30 pounds for $12, 0 cents, they're not giving you a deal. They're giving you the cheapest possible product that fits the price. Sometimes that includes dangerous pathogens. Your safest approach is to buy smaller bags you can finish quickly. Store them in a cool, dry place, never the garage. Keep the original bag for lot code tracking, and always wash your hands after scooping kibble. If your cat develops fever, diarrhea, vomiting, or lethargy, contact your vet immediately and bring the bag. If this made you rethink large bargain bags, type "no more big bags" in the comments to help another pet owner make the same decision. Brand 59 Lives. 9 Lives is one of those brands people feel comfortable with because it's familiar. Morris the cat has been smiling from those cans for generations. Your parents bought it, your grandparents bought it. The branding feels safe, loyal, trustworthy. But behind that nostalgic design sits a pattern that should concern every cat owner. From 2018 to 2019, 9 Lives recalled multiple canned recipes for low thiamine, the same neurological issue we already saw with AMS. But here's the difference. 9 Lives didn't just slip once. They were caught multiple times. This isn't bad luck, it's a pattern. The company knew thiamine was a problem in their production process. They got flagged, they paid fines, and then it happened again, putting hundreds of thousands of cats at risk a second time. What makes thiamine deficiency so dangerous is how invisible it is. The food still looks shiny, the smell is familiar, the texture feels normal. Meanwhile, the nutrient your cat needs for brain and nerve function is missing. The cats who collapse first are the ones who already have the least reserve. Seniors, cats with chronic conditions, underweight cats, and kittens whose brains are still developing. First, the vomiting and weight loss. Then the wobbling. A cat who suddenly can't walk straight or seems confused is experiencing neurological breakdown, not just old age. If the deficiency continues, seizures and permanent damage follow. What makes this betrayal feel worse is the response. After multiple recalls, the brand didn't overhaul safety, didn't make sweeping improvements, didn't take accountability. They simply paid fines and kept shipping cans with that familiar smiling mascot. The trust people placed in the brand became a business cost to them. Your safest move is to rotate your cans and use older dates first. Stick with brands that post real nutrient testing. And if your cat suddenly seems disoriented, wobbly, or confused, stop feeding the suspected can and call your vet immediately. Bring the can so they can record the lot code. If you've ever watched your cat walk strangely and blamed it on just age, type "not age" in the comments. It could open someone else's eyes before it's too late. Brand 4, Special Kitty. Special Kitty is Walmart's familiar house brand. Millions of cans sell every week because the price feels friendly, the packaging looks harmless, and shoppers trust the store behind it. But what most cat owners don't realize is that store brands rarely make their own food. They use contract manufacturers, plants that produce multiple brands on the same equipment, sometimes switching products several times a day. And in 2019, that system cracked. J.M. Smucker issued a recall for Special Kitty canned cat food due to ingredient and quality concerns. Here's the problem with contract manufacturing. The companies selling the product don't control the ingredients, don't run the plant, and don't oversee the day-to-day operations. They simply hire whoever offers the lowest bid. When something goes wrong in that environment, tracking the failure becomes a nightmare. Was it the supplier, the plant, the specific shift, the equipment cleaning cycle? No one knows until cats start getting sick. Open a can of Special Kitty, and the first warning signs are subtle. A sour smell when the lid lifts, a puffed or bulging top, a lid that doesn't release cleanly. These can indicate bacterial overgrowth or gas production, and if you see any of them, you should not open or feed that can. But many shoppers don't know these clues. They just trust the store brand and assume the low price is harmless. Holderman's response to recalls has traditionally been minimal. Quiet notices, pulled lots, no widespread consumer alerts. And because of the low cost, families with limited budgets are more likely to grab these cans without knowing the risks they carry behind the scenes. The truth is simple. Store brands compete on price, not rigorous testing. When margins are razor thin, something has to give, and too often it's oversight. That means the cat eating from the bowl becomes the final quality control test. You can protect your cat by checking seams before buying, avoiding dented or bulging cans, and never serving food with an off smell. Keep receipts and lot codes in case of a recall, and if anything feels wrong, texture, smell, lid pressure, return the can sealed. If you've ever ignored a weird smell from a cheap can because it was probably fine, type "check the can" in the comments. It might make another owner slow down and look closer. Brand 3, Blue Ridge Beef. Blue Ridge Beef markets itself with a raw, natural, back-to-instinct pitch. Frozen chubs, simple labels, and promises of feeding your cat like nature intended. On the surface, it feels pure and honest. But behind that rustic image is one of the most concerning contamination patterns in the pet food industry. In 2024, multiple public notices documented repeated recalls for Salmonella and Listeria across different Blue Ridge Beef products. Not one batch, not one slip, multiple events showing the same failures. Raw pet food demands absolute perfection, all the way from slaughterhouse to freezer. Every step must maintain a cold chain under strict control. All it takes is one warm truck, one freezer that cycles too high, or one package that thaws and refreezes for dangerous bacteria to multiply. The worst part? You'd never know. Raw food doesn't change color. It doesn't smell spoiled. It doesn't look wrong. It just silently carries pathogens into your kitchen. Once contaminated raw food enters your home, the risk spreads fast. The thawing sink, the cutting board, your hands, the counter, every surface becomes a potential zone for Salmonella or Listeria. Cats can get sick, but even cats who don't show symptoms can shed bacteria throughout the home. The litter box becomes a danger zone. Floors, blankets, and furniture become silent carriers. Blue Ridge Beef's recurring recalls show a deeper problem: facility contamination. Listeria doesn't disappear with one cleanup. It can hide in drains, on floors, in production equipment, and survive cold conditions. When multiple products across different time periods test positive, it's a sign that the system controlling bacteria has broken down. The marketing may feel natural and ancestral, but wildcats don't eat meat processed in facilities where environmental Listeria is present. The gap between the promise and the reality is wide. Your best move is to handle raw food like a biohazard. Keep everything under 40 dF, thaw in sealed leak-proof bags, sanitize sinks, counters, and bowls immediately after handling. And if your cat shows vomiting, diarrhea, fever, or sudden fatigue, call your vet right away and bring the packaging. If you've ever thawed raw cat food directly in the sink, type "safe handling" in the comments to help others rethink their routine. Brand 2, Northwest Naturals. Northwest Naturals has the kind of packaging that makes you feel confident. Clean design, natural claims, and a promise of pure nutrition. But there's a serious timing problem behind the scenes. This company is actively selling raw poultry products during an ongoing bird flu H5N1 outbreak, and that raises risks most cat owners never think about. From 2024 to 2025, AVMA and multiple state alerts reported cats infected with H5N1 after eating raw poultry. This isn't a hypothetical warning. Cats have gotten sick, some severely, after exposure to contaminated raw turkey. The problem is simple and frightening. H5N1 doesn't change how raw food looks or smells. The chub in your freezer could carry a virus capable of harming your cat, and it would look perfectly normal. When thawed, it smells like fresh turkey. Your cat devours it, completely unaware of what's hiding inside. And unless the company tests every batch and publishes the results, you have no way to know the poultry in your freezer is safe. It gets worse. Salmonella is already a common passenger on raw poultry. Add a circulating avian flu strain to the equation, and raw turkey becomes one of the highest risk foods a cat can eat, especially for vulnerable pets. Senior cats with weaker immune systems, cats taking steroids or immunosuppressants, kittens who haven't built resistance yet. These cats can crash fast and hard when exposed to viral or bacterial loads their bodies can't handle. Northwest Naturals markets itself as premium, but selling raw poultry during an active bird flu outbreak without visible batch verification isn't premium, it's reckless. Cat owners can't rely on packaging or marketing language to guarantee safety when viruses don't leave visible markers. Signs of H5N1 exposure can be subtle at first. Lethargy, fever, difficulty breathing. Severe cases escalate quickly and can be fatal. If your cat shows these symptoms after recently eating raw turkey, call your vet immediately. Your safest choice is to avoid raw poultry entirely until the outbreak ends. If you refuse to switch, demand published batch tests, keep everything below 40 DEGF from store to bowl, and disinfect prep zones thoroughly after each feeding. If reading this made you rethink raw poultry, type "no raw turkey" in the comments to warn other cat owners. Brand 1. Radcat. Radcat built a devoted following by positioning itself as the smart cat owner's raw choice. Small batch, artisanal, carefully crafted formulas, a community that trusted the brand because it felt personal and thoughtful. But behind that handcrafted image was a manufacturing system struggling to stay ahead of contamination. In 2018, multiple FDA notices documented recalls for Listeria and Salmonella, not just in one product, but across several formulas. This wasn't a fluke, it was a collapse. Raw pet food manufacturing requires sanitation on the level of a medical facility. Listeria is not an ordinary contaminant. It lives in drains, hides in microscopic crevices on equipment, and survives cold temperatures that kill other bacteria. When Listeria shows up in finished product, it means bacteria found a direct path from the environment into the food. That doesn't happen because of bad luck. It happens because the system keeping bacteria out has failed. The FDA didn't just find contaminated food, they found environmental positives in production areas. Floors and drains carried the same strains found in packaged raw food. That's the smoking gun. It showed contamination wasn't a single mistake, it was systemic. Many customers trusted Radcat because the food looked wholesome. Open the package and it appears fresh and perfectly textured. But bacteria don't change the appearance of raw food. They don't announce themselves with a smell or color shift. Colony counts grow silently until your cat eats a contaminated meal and begins shedding pathogens in your home. For Radcat's long recall history eventually crushed the brand. Loyal customers were left reading FDA updates and questioning what they had unknowingly fed their cats for months. The emotional damage was real. People felt betrayed by a company they believed cared deeply about quality. The lesson is hard but necessary. Small batch doesn't mean safe. Artisanal doesn't guarantee testing. Premium pricing doesn't buy reliability. The only thing that proves a raw brand can control pathogens is published batch results. Real documentation available for every lot. Your protection plan is simple. Choose raw brands only if they publish pathogen testing for every batch. Keep lot codes documented, check FDA recall pages regularly, and if your cat shows vomiting, fever, lethargy, or diarrhea, save the packaging and call your vet immediately. If this made you rethink trusting small batch marketing, type "show the test" in the comments. It encourages more owners to demand proof. Safe brand, raised right. Real testing, actual proof. After going through brand after brand built on marketing instead of safety, Raised Right feels like a breath of fresh air. This company doesn't rely on buzzwords, it relies on proof. Raised Right publishes batch lab results, real certificates of analysis showing pathogen testing, nutrient verification, and documented negatives for every lot they release. From 2018 through 2025, the company's materials consistently show Salmonella and Listeria testing on every batch before it leaves their facility. Open a package and you notice the difference instantly. It smells like real food, not metallic residue or mystery gravy. The texture is clean and natural, and your cat dives in with confidence. But the real magic isn't the appearance, it's the transparency. Radcat made promises. 9 Lives made promises. Almost every recalled brand made promises. Raised Right doesn't ask you to trust them based on words. They give you the lab reports up front. Their system uses a cooked fresh process that eliminates raw handling risks while keeping nutrition intact. No salmonella roulette, no silent listeria contamination. Just food verified by actual testing before it ships to your door. Your role is simple. Scan the QR code or enter the lot code on their website. Pull up the posted lab results, confirm pathogen negatives and nutrient levels. It takes under a minute. Store the package properly, refrigerate after opening, and keep the original label until the food is gone. If a lot code ever fails to load or looks suspicious, contact support before serving it. This is what real accountability looks like. Verification before trust. If you want to see more pet brands held to this standard, type test every batch in the comments. Stay friend to Open Farm. Open Farm is one of the few pet food companies that treats transparency as a responsibility, not a marketing trick. Instead of vague promises about premium sourcing or careful crafting, they built their entire system around something far more meaningful: traceability. Enter the lot code on their website and you can track exactly where your cat's food came from, the facility, the ingredients, the sourcing standards, and the batch information behind the label. From 2019 through 2025, Open Farm's materials consistently highlight third-party certifications, verifiable ingredient sourcing, and batch details available to any customer who asks. Most brands hide behind generic claims like quality ingredients. Open Farm flips the script. You verify first, you trust second. Their cooked and retorted options also avoid the risks tied to raw feeding. No mystery bacteria, no silent salmonella, no wondering whether the turkey thawed in a truck somewhere. The texture is steady, the smell is clean, and portioning is easy. But the real strength is that you're not guessing, you're checking. Your routine with Open Farm should be simple. Enter the lot code before feeding. Confirm the facility, ingredients, and certifications match what you expect. If a code doesn't resolve, hold the product sealed and contact support. Always keep original packaging until the food is gone, rotate by date, and avoid dented cans or pouches with damaged seals. Traceability isn't a buzzword here. It's a built-in system that lets you hold the company accountable and gives you the power to verify everything before your cat eats. If you believe every pet food brand should offer this level of transparency, type "trace it" in the comments. We've covered a long list, from budget brands cutting corners to premium labels hiding quiet failures, from repeated contamination in raw food facilities to nutrient deficiencies in canned classics. And after all of it, one thing is clear: your cat can't read recall notices. They can't research brands. They can't check lot codes. They trust you completely. Now you know what's really sitting on store shelves. You've seen which companies bury warnings, which ones repeat the same mistakes, and which ones back their promises with hard proof. With this information, you're not just a cat owner anymore. You're your cat's only line of defense. Take a moment and look at the brands in your pantry or freezer. Check the dates. Check the lot codes. If you see anything from a company that doesn't test, doesn't publish results, or has a long history of contamination, don't gamble. Your cat's health is worth more than a discount or a familiar label. And if you want to help another pet parent avoid a mistake, drop a comment with the worst cat food you ever trusted. Your experience could save someone else's cat. Before you click away, share this video with anyone who feeds a cat, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss another Warning One update. Could literally save your pet's life. If you're staying alert and protecting your cat from now on, type "cat safe" in the comments. It tells me you're paying attention, and it shows other owners they should too.